How old are you and what's your biggest problem right now? There are crisis services worldwide that are trained to provide support. They are designed to give temporary relief from feelings that are overwhelming you, and while they are unlikely to fix any underlying problems, can help you get through a tough hour, night, week. Chat services are usually available on these sites. In the US, calling 211 or going to their website is a free referral source. They have providers who will see you regardless of your ability to pay. Just as you would see a doctor when you are sick, you deserve to take care of your mental health. My dad died a month ago. I am 13. It is going to be hard, I can't lie. Sitting through the funeral with his box of ashes right there was a rough reminder that he won't be here anymore. He can't watch me grow up, go to high school, go to college, watch my recital and my plays and concerts. Won't be able to watch me get married or have kids. There is a lot I am missing out on doing with him. I'm glad you had 40 hopefully wonderful years with your mom. If you need to talk, I'm here. 55. Live alone, work 100% from home, and have no friends and family. Be lonely. If you like the outdoors and such, there are plenty of groups on Facebook and meetups and the like. In my 40 seconds, I had no friends. I worked from home like you and didn't have anyone to just hang out with. I always thought it seemed so cool sit around a campfire and bull with friends while drinking a beer or have laughs at a restaurant. I got involved in some random groups I saw on Facebook about 5 years ago. We go hiking, camping, caving, and all that. I've got several really big adventures planned for the summer already with some very amazing friends that I've become close with. At 53, not only do I have more friends than I've ever had in my life, but also some of the best friends I've ever had. It seems surreal at times. I used to know a man like this pre-pandemic. He made enough to eat a $15 lunch every day, so he came into the Wendy's I worked for every day for a salad. He was a joy to talk to, and all the staff loved him. Whoever was working front, register, and keeping dining area clean would usually end up talking to him for like 20 minutes, and the managers didn't care because they knew he was getting his only human contact for the day. After a decade's worth of Wendy's lunches, his order was completely, and you would have to get a manager to input it by hand, but no one minded one bit. I'll never forget him and how his talks made my shift more bearable. The moral of this story is that you can find a community anywhere, even in a group of complete strangers. I hope you can find one someday. In other posts, topics about life in general, I always give my reasoning for why I wanted 3 minus for kids. In my 50 seconds, 60 seconds, 70 seconds, I wanted a lot of family around. Of course, by then parents and grandparents are gone, so if you want a lot of family around other than you being the aunt or uncle to a big family, I realized it needs to be built. I do have 3 kids, and I'm 38 now. A lot of people my age brag about how they're single and have no kids so they can do whatever they want with their money, etc. But for me, I never want to feel that loneliness you describe. Let me ask you this. If you had to spend your money on a family, would you choose that instead? I'm 37 and feeling this too. Regarding the brutal hardship of life for the have-nots, I think of my grandpa and an essay he wrote with pencil on paper back when both were made good, which we discovered in a box he kept in his room when he lived with us. Found next to his brass knuckles, a must-have for boys growing up in Brooklyn. I kept both just in case. He served as a U.S. Marine, earned a B's degree in the 60s, and worked for Nabisco for 38 years, retiring very accomplished, and married to my Grandma Joan for 52 years, until her death did them part. A career Catholic who played the horses after Sunday Mass and always sang a bedtime story to his children, then grandchildren, then my nephew Braden when little Braden christened him Baba. I typed out the essay, of which I will share some with you. Now, I believe that something which we call a God put us here to prove our worthiness to Him and to earn a way of life, which could be a heaven. The Church says, on Judgment Day you shall go to heaven, purgatory, or hell. Here is where I differ in an inner self-conscious belief, which is completely different from that of the Church. I believe, and always felt, that life here on earth is actually the place called hell. I think that life and its sleep, eat, work, eat, sleep, eat, work, eat pattern, day after day, week after week, year after year, with its grinding, and grueling drives certainly cannot be heaven or a place called a haven, with life's tragic murders, killing or be killed, famines, floods, sickness, and disease. All these lead me to believe that we are really in hell, and someday there will be a judgment day and death. Either to enter a heaven, a place where eternal life exists, without tragedy, sickness, wars, murders, and all of the evils that now exist. Then, if you prove yourself after death, you will enter heaven. If you don't prove yourself by living in accordance to the 10 Commandments, you are returned to hell, which in reality is earth, and given another chance to reach heaven. Excerpt from an essay by Frank Volaro. Grandpa passed away recently, at 90 years young. But if there's a heaven, I would bet all the money I've got, even if it's not much, that he's there. Somebody said something to me very recently. It really resonated. I want to give it to everyone. Same storm, different boat. Don't get out of the boat. Keep your life vest on. Keep rowing. It's okay to take a break, but don't stop rowing. 49 here. You do have to go out. I know that sounds like obvious, but I struggled with that too, and I really had to do something about that. You have to get out of your comfort zone. After 20 years of working caregiving, I couldn't do it anymore. Burnout is real. I just accepted a job in a factory doing embroidery. I take less pay, that's for sure, but it's way closer to home. It's barely over a mile away, so I can walk it. I plan to ride my bike this summer. I'm going to save money on gas. Here's why I'm giving you this advice. I took this job specifically because now I have Vietnamese coworkers. I'm very enthusiastic about learning their language. I speak Arabic. When I discovered that I had learned Arabic and that's harder than Vietnamese, I was sold. They're very friendly and accommodating about that. You can learn any language. It's a great way to get out. You can take classes or do it the old-fashioned immersion way. Take classes, whatever it is you like. Definitely take classes in the things that you used to do and stop doing because of your obligations. Fall in love with that again. Rediscover that whatever it is, you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to whatever it is you used to do but don't do anymore. You'll meet people either place. Spiritual, religious services. To each their own. But it's a great way to get out and make connections, have fellowships. If you have something to give, to your career, past experiences, knowledge, etc., that's a great place to plug into that, also vice versa, right? That's why they're called services, to give and receive. See also, volunteer. There's nothing more rewarding. There's so many things that you can do out there, and helping people feels so good. What are you passionate about? What bothers you? And how can you get involved? For those of us who don't believe, have that group, please. Start that group. Hey, I'm not religious or spiritual, but I'm lonely. Seeking connections. Let's do something along the lines of religious and spiritual, but that you don't have to have Jesus or God or the fine spaghetti monster. We can still get together and do something, care about each other. We'll make our own religion. I mean, literally thousands of people agree with you about that. Start a I'm 50 years old and being alone club. Maybe once a week is too much. Maybe we can meet once a month. Maybe we can have Zoom meetings to check in. I don't know if you're interested in this sort of thing, but I recently started checking out the alternative scene. There's a lot going on out there. Plenty of very interesting people to meet, a lot of fun parties, very interesting artwork and shows and such. Seriously, you don't have to have with anybody. You can just hang out and watch. They're into that, to each their own. My husband died suddenly on January 2nd. Now I have to figure out where my life is going. My sister-in-law just lost her partner on January 13th on a Friday. He was born on a 13th. They had moved together to the town he grew up, bought a house, a car, and both had just began working on their new jobs. They had barely lived there for a couple of months, had been planning to become pregnant within the next few months. They had been talking about ring size and what type she liked. That they wake up on the 13th, he gave her a kiss and said he loved her, made himself ready for work. Was almost out of the house before he turned around and got back to the bed with her and gave her another kiss. She asked him why another kiss, and he said he wanted her to feel well taken care of. He was the healthiest man I've ever known. He worked out regularly and had an education surrounding nutrition and training. He died when his heart stopped while playing soccer with his friends. A doctor was a minute away and started working on him. The ambulance was 4 minutes away and started working on him. My sister-in-law and his family all arrived to see him laying there while they tried to revive him for 2 hours. He was born with a heart condition. If they had known beforehand, the operation would kept him alive. None could imagine that this healthy boy who grew up into such a strong man had a heart condition which could end so tragically 6 months before he turned 30. So now my wife is having to do what she can to support her grieving sister, and I'm fairly powerless to do anything. I'm 32. 50 years old, stage 4 prostate cancer. Get your prostates checked. My dad was diagnosed at 50, completely by chance. Surgery, but the tumor had already spread. We've been incredibly lucky that Pharmac covered treatment via hormonal management. This stopped working last year, and he began palliative chemo, which has given him the best pain relief he's been able to find. He's not long ago celebrated his 73rd birthday. His attitude is that maybe he has to deal with cancer, but that can't be as bad as the cancer having to deal with him. Good luck, and take care of yourself. 42 and trying to figure out which of my problems is the biggest. I'm going with finances and depression. Looked at the comments hoping to see some people worse off than me, maybe a bit of sadism, maybe a bit of hopefulness. I dunno, I'm just trying to find some reasons to not hate my own existence. But here we are. A couple days ago was my 43rd. My finances Svik. I've been depressed most of my adult life, but I'm just really sad right now too. There is a difference between sad and depressed, and I'm both right now, and I don't deserve to be either. I'm healthy. I still have all my limbs and digits thanks to modern medicine, and there are people who care about me, which makes the depression just feel like even more of a failure. I hope you feel better soon. I hope I do too. I'm 30-something. Been struggling with this myself lately. Then it hit me, burnout. I'm struggling with burnout from work and personal life, but mostly work. My boss is totally overbearing and pushing every single part of our team to our breaking point. I've lost 30 pounds from stress in the last couple months. Some of it from new meds, most due to stress. I had a follow-up with my doc earlier this month and she said I needed to reduce my stress, which kills me. I love my job, but the last couple weeks I've hit that realization that I can't continue to be this burned out, stressed, and exhausted. It's not healthy. Prior to my appointment, I spent 4 hours polishing my shiny turd of a resume and applying for everything I think I had a shot of getting. I had an interview this week and within 24 hours was hired at a new job. I just have to hang in there till the end of the month. I still haven't decided on whether or not to give notice. I'ma tell you something about depression, and this can go for everyone. Depression exists and it is severe. I will never deny that, but depression can be fought off by everyone. You just gotta find the biggest problem that is the cause of your depression. Once you do that, oh baby, it feels so fucking great when you fight it, because you feel like you are beating the out of it. You are not depression. Depression is something that latches onto you, and you gotta figure out what makes it strong, your darkness, so you can burn it off. Most of the time, figuring out what you are supposed to confront is difficult because it's embarrassing and it makes you realize how ignorant, how small, and how useless you are in the great scheme of all. And that's fine. That's okay, because we are dumb, weak, and useless. It's normal. Once you can accept that, you will be able to move on. For me, is the fact that I'm not that into it, the whole working, talking all serious, and doing the things I don't like. My depression stems from not enjoying life, so I started to do the things that matter to me and take it easy. I got my room being all set up for video games. I'm saving money. I play soccer every Wednesday night. I got a small yet solid group of friends. I'm going to Disney for my 27th birthday. I'm single. I know what I want. I'm independent. And I can handle my life just fine. Sure, some things are stressful, and I faff up, but I manage okay at the end because I speak up and I try to make myself understood, and if people don't like it then I move on and I keep on being happy. Because why do I care about other people who don't try to be happy with me? Don't let depression ruin you, because depression feeds off your insecurities, and those insecurities are manageable. Everyone, I suggest you speak with therapists. Therapy is accepted so much in this modern world that there are cheap options out there and you can find them. You just gotta put the effort. You gotta be present. And you gotta work for that happiness, or at least the beginning of that happiness. You don't get happiness for free. The worst has happened or will happen, but once you try to work out your feelings and put them on their correct space, the sun will be bright af. Everyone should be happy. My dad just went through what you're fearing. We lost my stepmom to brain cancer the day after their 27th anniversary. My dad had noticed changes in her behavior and begged her to go get checked out. They found the tumor in early December and it had rapidly spread. We lost her about 30 days after finding the tumor. My dad has been dealing with grief and depression, but he loves to share the happy memories still. Loves to share how she always kept him out of trouble and how he had never been arrested in their 27 years of marriage despite an arrest history prior to meeting her. She was the best thing that ever happened to us. Cherish the rest of your time with her and let her know how much she means to you. It'll be hard when that day comes, but she wouldn't want you to give up when she's gone. I'm recently divorced from the person I thought was the love of my life. The person I thought I'd grow old with, but I was very sadly wrong. After 15 years together, he cheated on me. I can only hope to one day experience the real, true, devoted love your wife has from you. I think it is such a rare thing, and it is a beautiful gift you share with her. I am sorry you are having to go through this grief. It's just, and it's not fair. I've lost a child, so I know grief well. All I can say is remember to look after yourself, be kind to yourself, and find support in others. Don't try to be strong all the time. Sometimes we need a good cry before the pressure boils over. I know I'm an internet stranger, but sending you and your wife lots of love. My grandmother had this and kept it a secret from us. She passed unexpectedly and I wasn't even able to rush out to her for us to say goodbye. She saw me last when I was probably about 4 and then again when I drove out to my mom's hometown to visit her during the pandemic. Grandma and Aunt wanted to see me, and after a lot of deliberation and consideration, I had agreed so long as Grandma would behave. She can be a little problematic and their family history that I was not wanting brought up. She didn't. She was nothing but good to me and happy to see me. I was gonna see her again soon. That family history kept me from seeing her because my mother was truly afraid what would happen if I saw her half-brother. It was fair of her. I'm her kid, and there's just some things we're hardwired to not tolerate, really. But even with that, with the disgust and hatred that's in my bones, I knew that all I wanted to do was say goodbye to my grandma. I would have behaved just like she did, you know? We lost my granddad to brain cancer about 5 to 7 years earlier, too. He just wasn't the same in the end either. Cancer is so difficult. It hurts your loved ones and those close to them. But I'm so glad that you are able to have this time with your wife. It is so clear from your post that you truly love her so deeply, and I know she is lucky and grateful and happy to have you by her side through this. Statistically, men are more likely to leave a terminally ill spouse. Of course, there's factors that play into that. But you're a superhero, my friend. You're staying so strong in a situation many cannot hope to handle. I'm 48 and my son is 16. He has a muscle-eating disease called muscular dystrophy and has lost the use of his legs. His arms have weakened to the point that he can barely lift a glass and he's in a wheelchair. He has an upcoming major surgery for scoliosis, caused by the disease that will enable him completely for up to a week. He worries about it and about the disease, and on top of that, he gets very depressed about not being able to do the things that other kids his age can do. I worry constantly about him, but there is nothing I can do. That's my biggest problem. He's not the problem, but the fact I can't do anything but worry. 37 and I'm going blind. I don't know how long it will take when I will be legally blind and unable to live my life with the richness, independence, and everything else I expected, but it's coming. It's a crushing inevitability. Every day that I get to see my loved ones' faces is a gift. I have cone dystrophy. It started as little falling stars in the peripheral vision of one eye and has progressed to completely blurred out central vision in that eye. In lit conditions, my eye has a noise or strobe light effect, like when a normal person looks directly into bright light. My other eye is normal for now, but will eventually go the same way. If you experience any strange symptoms with your eyes, see an optometrist right away. Too many of you are saying you have things going on that haven't been checked. I'm lucky to live in Canada, so I drove straight to the optometrist the day my symptoms started and was immediately sent to a retinal specialist and had testing done. It's a lot of detail, but so many people are asking. I thought it would be easier just to post here. Also, thanks for all the support, you guys. It is very sweet of you all. I'm 42 and have terminal cancer. I've been in continuous treatment for almost 6 years. My biggest problem is that cancer treatment is freaking expensive. I did everything right and it still all went wrong. I have 3 degrees. I had a decent job. I had a retirement account. I had an emergency fund better than most my age. I've spent all my savings. I've exhausted my resources. I don't make enough on disability to stay afloat. My credit score dropped 100 points from losing my job because my debt-to-income ratio changed. I never paid a bill late though. I have a house payment. I have kids to raise. I'm sinking. No drowning. Credit cards are maxed out with copays and fuel for the 5-hour round trip to treatments. My house needs repairs, but I have nothing left. I'm one vehicle breakdown from financial ruin. When my car dies, I won't be able to buy another, which will result in me losing access to treatment. I will die because the money ran out. I'm tired. I'm damaged. I'm broken. And all I want to do is be here a little longer because I love my kids so dearly and they still need me. I can't let go because they need me. It was never supposed to be like this. I did everything right, but it was all stripped from me with a diagnosis. I've watched my world crumble while I fought to stay alive. They still need me. 60s. My mother has dementia, but she doesn't know it. She lives alone and is able to function on some level, but not without a lot of help. I am her only helper. I visit her daily and I listen to the same old tired stories about who wronged her in her life, or who was perceived to have wronged her. She can't remember that I visited the day before, but she can remember the smallest slight from 40 years ago. She won't join us for holidays because my 5-year-old granddaughter with autism chose someone else to sit beside for dinner 3 years ago, and because she wasn't disciplined for that, so she stays at home alone and blames me for it. It's just so damn tiring. She's driven away all of her friends because of one perceived slight or another. I am the only one she has left, but only because I swallow my pride and take her abuse when she blasts me for a perceived slight. I don't argue with her because I keep telling myself it's not her, it's the disease. I miss my mother, at least the one that I've known all of my life. I am actually looking forward to the day when she can no longer function on her own and has to go to assisted living, and I feel guilty about it. We are all living longer now than we were just a few years ago, but the medical advances we've seen recently for our physical bodies just gives us more time to develop mental issues. My father passed away because his body gave out, but I always knew even to the end that he loved me. It is much harder to endure this mental decline. 30 and my love life or lack thereof. I want to find someone, but it's hard. I've gone on over 30, maybe 40. I've lost count dating app dates, and maybe 2 of those ended up lasting a couple of months. One of those was with a girl I really liked, but she abruptly ended it after 2 months, citing the whole no spark thing. Talking to women at bars has gotten me some numbers, but nothing substantial. I also hate hitting on women at bars, and they can definitely tell, but I need to try. I know people say get a hobby to meet people, but I don't know if it's that simple. I'm active, have a good job making good money. I volunteer coach 5th grade basketball and take my doggo to the park. I go out on most weekends. I have enough to keep me busy, and I feel as if I'm moderately attractive. People just seem so jaded and flaky and not willing to put in the time it takes to get to know someone. It's all about the spark, which I don't even know if that's real anymore. I know I felt it in high school and college with previous girlfriends, but now in my 30 seconds it seems impossible to capture that feeling. Every day I feel more and more unlovable, and I'm not sure how much more rejection I can take.